I can't remember if I said it on this channel, but I actually thought that Ghost of Tsushima was probably the most improved game for accessibility that I have ever seen. And I was really excited when the game Trek To Yomi was announced, even though it's not the same developer, it's not even the same console, that I'd hoped that maybe, you know what, I would get another accessible samurai experience. No, we did not. Let's go into the review. Hi, I'm Steve Saylor, I'm blind, and if you're wondering how I'm able to play video games if I'm blind, if you take a look at the video here, and the video is not there, click the link in the description down below to see exactly what I see when I'm playing video games. Also, you know what? If you like this video at the end, please click the like button and also hit the subscribe button and hit the notification bell so you can be notified when new videos come out on this channel. Trek To Yomi is interesting for me because I actually was able to play this at PAX East as a demo, and I was going to do a video of my accessibility impressions based on that, but then just after I got back from PAX, they sent me a review copy to be able to try out, and I was like, okay, I will just do a proper Trek To Yomi accessibility review. Trek To Yomi is a samurai Kurosawa inspired type film-like story game that has a lot of like difficult sort of side-scrolling combat. And I say Kurosawa inspired because I don't want to necessarily say that this is the true authentic samurai experience from that era of Japan, but it definitely is more inspired by the samurai films of the era of Kurosawa, including the fact you can be able to have sort of like this film scratch sort of look at like kind of like as you're watching a film from the 50s that was filmed in the 50s. But the good thing is you can actually be able to turn that off in the settings, but also as well, the entire game is in black and white, so it kind of has this really difficult gameplay and kind of fun sort of samurai combat, but you're playing it in sort of like, again, a Kurosawa sort of samurai film. So let's talk about difficulty, because I believe this probably will come up in some, if not maybe all of the reviews for Trek To Yomi. This game is difficult. I will say this, when I played it at PAX, I was playing it on the medium difficulty, and it was difficult for me to play. Now, granted, there were some caveats to that. I wasn't playing it with headphones, and it was a very loud convention center, so I can't really say for certain because I wasn't able to listen to the audio cues. I did try to be able to play on medium difficulty on my own setup, but it wasn't as conclusive as a different sort of night and day scenario compared to PAX. But the good thing is that there are difficulty modes. There are easy, medium, and hard, and a fourth difficulty that I believe will unlock once you beat the game. I didn't get that far in order to be able to know that for 100% certainty, but there is a fourth difficulty there. I will say, compared from PAX demo to the review copy, the difference that I can be able to see from easy and medium is that the parrying sort of timing is a little bit looser on the easier setting than it is on the medium setting. Also, as well, the shrines that you can be able to find to be able to give you like fill up your health and your stamina are definitely more frequent in the easier difficulty than they are in the medium difficulty. I know that for certain because I did reach the point where I played in the PAX demo, and there is one spot where there wasn't a shrine there, but there in the medium difficulty, but there was one there when I played it on the easier difficulty. So let's talk about the accessibility of this game. There's no need for colorblind settings. That's kind of really it. I mean, like, that's the good thing actually about a whole game being in black and white, is that you don't have to worry about anyone that's colorblind, because there's no gameplay that's tied to a color, so you're not gonna be able to have any issues progressing forward in the game or in the story. So that's good. But as far as kind of like a lot of things, there's a lot of things that are kind of built into the gameplay, but there is also a lot missing from sort of what we would would want to have as a really good accessible experience. So let's talk about the deaf and hard of hearing aspect of the gameplay. A lot of the gameplay, a lot of the combat is on screen at any given time. It is very rare that there is any combat that is basically anything that's kind of coming at you from off screen, at least from as far as I got into the gameplay itself. Now, also there are subtitles and you can be able to turn those on or off, but there is no ability to be able to increase the size or the type of background you can have for subtitles. It's pretty much just take it as is. There's a weird thing about the subtitles, and I'll get into that in a minute when I talk about sort of the audio of the English translation of the subtitles. Actually, let's talk about that now, because I feel like this is kind of weird. This is the one time in a game where the dialogue doesn't match up with the subtitles. There's pretty much almost every single line. The English translation of the audio is different than what is in the subtitles. It has the same relative meaning, so it's not like you're hearing one thing and reading something else, but there definitely is some weird it's almost like a voice actor's got a different script that was a one draft, and the people who made the subtitles had a different draft, and it sort of worked. No, it's weird. Just listen to this and you'll see what I mean.
Like shadows, his men silently crept down the mountains. They took 2 villages. They left but blood and ash.
Well, you get what I mean, right? It's close, but not exactly. When it comes to motor disabilities, though, you should probably play on the PC version because on mouse and keyboard, it is the only way to be able to remap anything as far as the controls go. If you're playing on controller or playing on console, there is no remapping of controls whatsoever. You can be able to turn off vibration on or off, and that's kind of really about it. Pretty much every button on the controller has a control tied to it. Now, for blind accessibility, when you're parrying in the game, you have to parry at just the right moments when a sword is about to strike your sword or strike you, because if you hold down parry all the time, they can basically get through that, and you can actually be able to get hit. So you are encouraged, and you have to be able to parry every single block. But there are patterns you can be able to pick up via audio, and that was one thing I was kind of curious about when I was playing it at PAX. Was I wanted to listen to this via headphones to see whether or not there was any directional sound to let you know when and where a particular hit was going to happen or strike was going to happen. I can say on one aspect, you can be able to hear the sound effect as to when a sword is about to be able to strike, but as far as any directional audio from left to right, I couldn't tell the difference from my own personal playthrough. Now, as far as if you're hoping to be able to only navigate walking left to right as you would in any sort of side-scrolling game, unfortunately, that is difficult to be able to do because a lot of areas that you kind of are in this game, you either are walking up and down, left to right. It's definitely, they kind of put you in these sort of static screens that you'll see your character kind of like and be in one area of the screen. You have to kind of like walk around different things in order to be able to progress to the next screen over. When you do hit a wall or any sort of obstacle that is in your way, the good thing is that there is a sound effect that stops when you actually do hit that barrier. So you can be able to eventually be able to navigate your way around. There's not a lot of navigational assistance other than just that no sound effect when you are walking into a wall or to a barrier. For those who are low vision, the text size is actually really small, especially in the menus and in sort of the tooltips that are pop up on screen. The buttons are pretty large to be able to hit when you see those on the tooltips and also in the menus, but pretty much all the text is super small, and I had trouble trying to be able to see it. The only odd choice when it comes to just kind of the general accessibility that I found that I think will be difficult for motor disability as well as blind low vision disability, is that in order to be able to turn around your character, you actually have to hit A to immediately turn your character from left to right, or vice versa, which is kind of difficult to know, like, especially if you're blind low vision, because there are sometimes that there are going to be characters coming from both sides that you have to spin your character in order to be able to face, and there's no indication, like I said, because the audio, to know whether you're not facing anybody. So overall, is Trek To Yomi accessible for disabled players? Yeah, no. I wish it was. To be honest, I kind of was hoping for another samurai game I could actually be able to play for accessibility, and I think I might be able to play because there is enough there for me to be able to at least get further into the game without a lot of barriers and blockers in my way. But when it comes to sort of just the general accessibility spectrum that is every disability, there's not a lot there for each disability for me to be able to recommend this for anyone in particular. Blind low vision to a certain degree if you're playing this on the easier difficulty setting, and maybe deaf and hard of hearing, but as far as kind of overall, it's not something that I would recommend for accessibility purposes. I would recommend trying out for yourself, as I always do for these reviews, but I would wait to see if you can be able to get this on Game Pass, which actually I think it actually did announce that there's going to be on Game Pass. Hold on, stand by.
Several bad puns later.
Oh, hey, so what do you know? It is going to be on Xbox Game Pass, literally on the day that this video comes out on May 5th. So you can try it out for yourself to see if there is any accessibility that works for you. But I would still say, yeah, it doesn't. You know what? I wanted this to be good. I haven't done a bad accessibility review in a while, so I'm just gonna leave it at this. I'm not mad, I'm just disappointed. That's basically where it comes down to. The accessibility dad strikes again. I'll turn this whole video game industry around. Anyway, that's it for me. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this review, please give it a thumbs up. If you want to be able to see more of my videos, hit the subscribe button and hit the bell notification icon so you can be notified when new videos come out. That's it for me. I'll see you in the next video, and as always, I remain obediently yours. Bye.